Plaintiff Donna Pension Edwards has been communicating with the dead since she was a child, and she even tried to help the defendant, who was her good friend, develop this same intuition. Donna's suing her former friend for rent, a loan, and transportation costs. Defendant Craig Gallagher admits that Donna was trying to help him learn to communicate with the dead, but he says he was never as involved as she was. Craig agrees that he owes Donna something, but feels she's overcharging him for the transportation costs.
Start with you.
Craig and I were great friends, and I hope after today we can continue our friendship. We met 10 years ago on the job, and our friendship developed through common interest of spirituality and universe. I've been communicating with the dead, aka the other side, for many years, since a child. I'm not special. Everyone has the gift, and I've helped Craig to develop his intuition as well as many others.
What do you have to do to develop it?
Believe and look outside the box of what we're told as little ones, and that there is another side, and when we die, there's life after death.
How long does it take to teach someone that?
It can take years. But
how long did it take him?
We're not sure if he's there yet.
Oh, he's slow. No, I'm saying slow in acquiring the gift.
It takes time, yes, it does.
Defendant Craig Gallagher is being sued by his friend, who claims she has been communicating with the dead since she was a child.
Steve Jobs, and different people are interpreting it different ways, but you know, when he died, his sister said it at the funeral, that his last words were, "Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow," like he was seeing something.
Indeed.
You see something that is so peaceful. It's the most peaceful feeling that you've ever experienced, and you see like a light or something, and some folks, they look down on themselves. So I'm always curious. I certainly believe something is out there beyond that. I'm a Christian, so I have my own thoughts of that Christianity and the Bible teaches. And tell me about your association beyond that over these 10 years that you all known each other.
Well, we've just continued a good friendship, and that is what brought us to this, because on April 13th, 2011, I loaned Craig $602 for a deposit on an apartment that was available May 1st. On April 21st, 2011, he contacted me at 10 p.m. and said that he needed emergency situation. He had to leave the place that he was staying at, and asked if I could help him. I went and picked him up, and on the 22nd, it was decided that he was going to stay with us until his apartment was ready. Unfortunately, it ended up being June 8th when he could move out, because the landlord didn't have his apartment ready May 1st. So it ended up being a total of 8 weeks that he stayed with us, and in that 8 weeks, he had room and board, he was fed, laundry, cleaning, all-inclusive living. I also transported him to and from work, 44 miles round trip per day for 30 days. And
well, you're good. You have any openings? You have any? I got some folks I want to send to you, but was there agreement on the payment?
Well, yes, he knew from the very beginning that it wasn't going to be a free ride, and that there was going to be a cost entailed. But at that time, we hadn't communicated what it was going to be, because number one, we didn't know it was going to be 8 weeks, and we had no idea that it would take this long and what would be accumulated in 8 weeks of time. So after he moved out, a week later, I went over everything. I kept a log of the miles that I drove and the things that I did. And he was very grateful at the end and said thank you. He thought it was going to be more than that. He was grateful to my husband and myself. And when I loaned him the money in April, he signed the ATM receipt to pay me back within 30 days. That didn't happen. I got my first payment in July, and 2 payments in July.
What's the balance on the loan?
$202 is the balance.
All right. And the rent?
The rent that's owed is $1,600.
Okay, but you all didn't have a specific agreement, did you?
We agreed that he was going to pay after he moved out on the 8th. A week later.
Wasn't an agreement at the beginning.
Correct.
But there was at the end.
Yes.
What about the transportation costs? What was that agreement?
The transportation cost was that I called a taxi company before I started driving them.
What was the agreement on payment, though, on him paying?
It wasn't on paper, but he understood that the amount.
How much?
$1.25 per mile.
Okay, so that was agreed upon.
Yes, it was.
And you've calculated that he owes how much?
I have calculated that he owes $1,813 in transportation.
How many miles does that?
1,450.
All right, you have your math together, don't you? I'll never borrow from you. You keep your numbers too precise. Sir, what do you want to tell me about
boy,
this?
where do I begin? Well, first of all, I just
Tell me about your friendship, your association, and then about moving in and all this.
Okay, pardon me. I just want to say, Don and I have been great friends for a long time. We have many other interests as far as spirituality goes. I've learned a lot. However, the difference between Don and myself is I'm not as involved with it as much as she is. I can appreciate it and respect that. Nobody can buy it, unless you want to buy a t-shirt or a candle or something. Things are learned from one another.
You haven't been to certain churches.
Yeah. Right, well, I hear you. But,
certain churches, they tell you you're going to get struck down immediately if you don't put your money in the plate.
Defendant Craig Gallagher is being sued by his friend, who claims she has been communicating with the dead since she was a child.
Go ahead.
I never expected to get anything for free. I'm not a freeloader. I work hard. And some of these numbers do not jive with me because some of the information I heard today is the first time I never heard of the $1.25 per mile. It is true that we did call a cab to find out, hey, hypothetically, how much would it cost if I had to use a cab? But I did
remember
use a
what
cab.
they said?
Donna had
with me when we called.
Yeah, we were sitting together.
You think she was talking to one of the cabs from the past?
No, they're here. They're here and present.
A dead cab?
Right.
Huh?
They're here.
Your Honor, I also have it in writing from a taxi company.
Oh, here we go. She has it in writing. Boy, you sure know how to come to court prepared. You knew you were going to have to sue him in the beginning.
Yes, I did.
We did not discuss the mileage charge. It was agreed that I would pay the gas, and I figured it 45 miles a day, 5 days a week, times the 7 weeks, not 8 weeks that I was there.
How much per day would that be?
I didn't figure out the day to day. I figured out the 7 weeks.
Okay, but it was 5 days a week, right?
For a compilation of one number that I would owe for gas.
Okay, sir. She's very clear on her number. The loan, sir, you agree that you owe her $202 balance?
Yes, I do. The $202 is part of the
and with regard to the rent,
deposit. How
much do you believe you were to pay for rent?
Okay, now that's another difference of opinion. I believe that $200 a week for a longtime friend is out of control. I think that's way too much, and I feel very insulted by that.
What did you agree to?
I didn't agree to. She didn't even discuss the dollar amount.
She did say you couldn't live there for free. That's what you said, ma'am. But did you? She said at the end of that, toward the end, you all did conclude an amount you would pay.
She had one big total number, and all the other details I could not read.
It?
Yes.
Did you agree to the total number?
I said I'm glad that it wasn't more.
All right, sir. I'm going to interpret that. I'm glad it wasn't higher, as I'm fine with that amount. And therefore, I'm going to interpret that as an agreement to pay the amount that was quoted. Because if it was too much, you would say that. $3,615 is your judgment. Have a good day.
Yay! Craigie, I hope that we can repair everything that's happened between the two of us. We've been great friends for 10 years, and we should continue.
I understand. I hope so, too. Sure, Wendy.
I do love you.
I'm going to let it go and move on.
That's right.